So this tweet kind of irked me. I put it here and you can pause to read it, but essentially this individual is warning others about hiring folks that come from well-known large firms, saying this person he hired to put in the CEO role did all these wonderful things to build his company systems up, but failed to close new business, so he fired him. Hey there, I'm Chris, and welcome to This Professional Life, a channel where I share my insights, strategies, and ideas around business development, as well as documenting interesting business stories that inspire my creativity. This irked me more so because it reminded me of how many times I've heard founders or executives complain about an individual they hired or how their hires never lived up to expectations. Now, let me start by saying that I will recognize that sometimes there are situations where the person you hire fails to deliver on the roles they are assigned. Sometimes. However, more often than not, it's the firm or person who's hiring that has failed in either finding the right fit for the role or communicating clearly and onboarding properly the person coming into that role. Now, I've actually been guilty of doing the same. I remember the first time I was appointed vice president of sales of an investment company. I needed to fill a manager's role to lead a sales team in one division. I hired this individual who I knew was a sales superstar and told him he would be in charge of leading a team to grow the sales of division. A few months later, the sales team he was leading was leaving en masse. After chatting with a few of the reps, I found out that this sales superstar was out pounding the pavement and essentially closing the deals on his own, alienating all the sales reps as they weren't able to hit their own numbers. What I realized was that I didn't communicate with or onboard this individual properly to emphasize that I wanted him to train and teach the team how to sell. We needed to grow a sales team and not just have one person bring in all the deals, as this was part of a long-term sustainability of the company. So while this individual thought this priority should be to close more business on his own, my priority was to build a solid team to close more business together. This was to put in place and eventually create a sales training program to grow our divisions across the country. So the next time you're unhappy with your new hire or your team, here are a few things you should consider that may help alleviate the situation. The first is, have you clearly communicated the expected work outcomes for the role? Leaders often undervalue how important it is for employees and teams to talk to each other about job expectations. Consider how well you've communicated those expectations regarding deliverables, support, and even outcomes. You may want to even go as far as giving an example of what success means in the specific role. Frequent communication in this capacity will also help in reinforcing the vision of the organization, which will keep everybody on the same page. This will boost overall performance and prevent any confusion over responsibilities. The second is, are your expectations about the outcomes of this role reasonable? Have you properly given this role the proper resources to support the expected outcomes? For example, if you hired a marketing manager to manage all your social media accounts, all the internal support documents that your sales team needs, does that person have the right software, automation tools, as well as team members to support the workload? If not, you either need to up your budget to hire more people or purchase more tools, or you need to scale back that manager's responsibilities, maybe dialing it down to only 1 or 2 social media accounts. Third, some leaders will hate to hear this, but are you micromanaging your staff? There's a difference between training your team and micromanaging your team. Have an honest reflection about your own performance and determine if micromanaging is getting in the way of how you perceive your team's performance. Remember, if you provide adequate training and align the task to the goals of the company, you should give your team the autonomy to complete the task the best way they know how to. This will give them the confidence to reach out to you if they need any clarification on the tasks themselves. Fourth, are you providing constructive feedback? I emphasize constructive because some leaders like to reinforce the firm's hierarchy and impose a level of authority over their team. Evaluate your approach and make sure you are showing empathy and willingness to work on improving the individual's performance. Give actionable items so that individuals can actually work on improving the way they approach the task. Now finally, do you actually have clarity on what your vision is for your company? And just wanting more sales isn't having a clear vision. People are more engaged with a company when they feel like the work they do contributes to the greater cause, the grander vision. Make sure your goals are aligned with the business strategy, and the roles and responsibilities you develop will be more meaningful and more impactful. That's it for this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe and like button so you are notified every time we upload new content. Take care, and I will catch you in the next one.